July 20th meeting of the Westborough Planning Board. I will read the agenda into the record. We have two A&R plans, one for South Street and one for 50 Huffington Road. We have a continued public hearing for a special permit application for Veterinary Clinic 1 Oak Street. We have Village Commons, 1 Gleason Street project updates, a discussion of future planning board meeting dates, and a master plan update. I'd like to do the A&R plans first, since the attorneys are billing for this hours. Right, Jim? Jim Tajan, do you want to start?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So, this is a piece of vacant land that is in between two neighbors, Jennifer Griffin and Mark and I think it's Kelly Orlando. And they're dividing up this piece, so they want to add one section of it to the Orlandos and one to the Griffins. And that's what this plan proposes to do.
Okay, Jim, Robbins, do you
Sure.
have any comments or?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the A&R basically transfers two pieces of land, we call them parcels. You all have a plan in front of you. If you look at your plan, you see there you have two parcels, one labeled as parcel E, one labeled as parcel G, and there are notes as to how they're going to be transferred on the plans. If you look at the notes on the left-hand side of the plan, you'll note that parcel E and G are to be combined with the existing property of Mark and Kelly Orlando. So the Orlando's property is up in the upper left side on the lower end of Ruggles Pond Road. So parcels E and G are going to be transferred to the Orlandos. Then parcel F is to be combined with the existing land of Jennifer Griffith. So if you look down at the bottom, you'll see parcel F. That's going to be combined with the existing parcel of Jennifer Griffith, which is the house just north of parcel F. It's actually, it looks more complicated than it is, because there's a lot of lines on the plan. There's a drainage easement at the back of parcel F that remains with the owner, Joanne Hoyler. I hope I said that right. I don't know if I...
Joanne Griffin.
No, I'm talking about parcel C.
Oh, parcel C, Joanne, Joanne
Joanne Hoyler?
is
Okay, thank you.
retaining that.
That's going to remain as it is. So you have a drainage easement that's being shared by those two parcels, but there's no new frontage, so you don't need to worry about an additional building lot ever being created. You don't have to worry about creating a non-conforming lot, because the Griffith family already has adequate frontage on South Street. So I find this is a plan that easily conforms with our A&R requirements.
Any questions from the board? Okay, I don't have any questions either, so I will make a motion to approve a plan of land at South Street and Ruggles Pond Road by WDA Design Group, dated, sorry, I don't see the date on here. Oh, is it on the left?
Oh, 7/14/2021.
Okay, 7/14/2021 for Mark and Kelly Orlando and Jennifer Griffin.
I second that.
Okay. Any questions on the motion, discussion? All those in favor of endorsing that plan? That's 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Next item was.
I'll sign the plans. Do you want me to call you tomorrow, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next item was an A&R for 50 Huffington Road. Jim, is there anyone here for that?
We just did,
No, that was
So
South Street.
50 Hopkinton Road.
oh, we just did South Street?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, well then the date I gave you may be wrong. Let's see.
All right.
Sorry.
Kristen? Yeah, let me just,
I'm sorry. Yeah, the date is 7/9.
okay. don't think we need to, we'll just take that as a.
The date on the application is 7/18.
The plan is 7/9.
Right.
We'll just take that as a clerical mistake,
Exactly.
and Kristen, you can fix that in the motion. Thank you.
Technically, what you should do is just ask if you can amend the motion and then re-vote it. I think that's the right thing to do.
All right, so can I amend that motion to date, a new date of 7/9/2021?
Agreed, or
Agreed.
approved.
Okay, all those in favor of the new motion, that's 4-0.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong,
That's
One.
okay, I couldn't find it at all, so you.
I
oh,
second, or Hazel second.
whoever. Yeah,
I heard Hazel second. All right, so the next A&R was 50 Huffington Road.
Yes,
Why don't you?
John Nichols is not going to be here this evening. I told him he didn't need to come. This is a very straightforward plan. So as you look at the plan in front of you, look at parcel X. It's 1.84 acres. It's at the top of the plan, or the north side of the plan. Parcel X was originally part of what's called the remaining land, which is 6.77 acres. So this was a very large parcel. This was 8 acres of land. At 50 Hopkinton Road. Parcel X is going to be transferred to the abutting property of Westborough Hopkinton Street Trust, also owned by Harvey's. So this is going to become a land that will be attached to their property for additional open space. There are no new building lots. There's no frontage created by this parcel. This is, again, a back lot transfer.
what's the existing building?
So the existing building is a commercial building.
That's what I thought, yeah. Oh, it backs up to the cemetery, so.
All right, any questions from the board?
Is that property subject to putting in houses at a later date?
So this property is zoned industrial B,
Okay,
and right now our bylaws don't allow residential
Right,
development in
okay.
industrial B.
that was just my question, because it, by increasing the size of a piece,
Oh,
I'm
no.
just wondering.
No, this is the transfer station.
That's what I thought, but
Yeah.
gotta ask, okay.
All right, does somebody want to make a motion on this?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I cannot see the dates
Yeah.
on Dropbox.
It's the lower
Here I
right-hand
got it.
corner, 714.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for some reason, I can't get Dropbox to show me the lower
What's the
right.
purpose of this?
Someone else has to make the motion.
Can
yeah.
The
Yeah,
purpose of the
try?
transfer is to
Sure.
increase the open space.
So I'd make a motion that the plan of land at 50 Hopkinton Road, Westborough, Massachusetts, be, that the A&R for that property be approved with parcel X of 1.84 acres being combined with the lot for Westborough Hopkinton Street Trust, the abutter. The date of the plan is 7/14/2021.
I just suggest that we use the word endorsed instead of approved, since it's an A&R, which is approval not required.
Sure.
I think we just endorse it.
Okay.
So that's okay.
Second,
All right, any further discussion of the motion? Okay, all those in favor? That's 4-0, sorry. All right, since Farouk is here, I'd like to go to the Village Commons 1 Gleason Street project updates. Farouk, why don't you just jump right into it, and then we can turn to comments from town departments and questions from the board.
Okay, I'm just here to give you the update on Village Commons, based on my progress and the decision that we are following that was made by the planning board a few years ago. I was supposed to get the shell of the building, commercial building completed beyond the 7th occupancy permit. can be received for the residential side of it. And the second building, the shell should be completed before, I think it's 13th or the 14th, the decision not in front of me, but 13th or the 14th occupancy permit. So I'm just here to give you an update. I'm ready for my 7th occupancy permit pretty soon, and I will be completing the shell of building number 1 very, very shortly. I'm expecting in about 2 weeks' time that shell will be completed. So once that shell is completed, I should be able to go ahead and get my occupancy permit still almost 13th or the 14th, and by which time I have to do the number 2. So that's what I'm here for, just to let you know that that's where I'm at. So
Okay.
Mark, I need to recuse myself from this. I have a property under agreement in this development.
Okay, thank you, Peter. I'm not really sure, I mean, I appreciate the update, Farouk, but I'm not really sure that you've clarified what you're here asking for. I mean, I appreciate the update.
yeah, if you go by the decision
Right,
that was recorded, there is no discussion of any affordables in there that I need to get the occupancy permit for. It is strictly based on the commercial building 1 and commercial building 2. However, just to give you an update, I've already, getting very close to completing the first affordable unit, and the other 2 foundations, there are a total of 3 affordable units. The other 2 foundations are already in, so I'm ahead of the game basically on the affordables. I've been working with the DHCD for the past 8 months to try to push them to get that document signed. Finally, lo and behold, approximately a week ago, I got the final document from DHCD sent to me, which I forwarded to Jim for the selectman's signature on it. Once the selectmen sign it, it goes back to DHCD and they sign it, and then we record that. Then that's when we can start the lottery. So we cannot sell the affordables till all that documentation is in place, but by that time, I'll be more than ready to do that, so.
okay, so I guess what I don't understand, you're here asking us for lot releases?
No, you have released, you mean the occupancy permit releases, right? Is that what you're
Occupancy
saying?
permits. Occupancy.
Yeah,
On the
you
first-
released all the lots.
On which units? On the first
It will
6
be,
units?
The next 3 units that I'm expecting to get the COs are 11, 15, and 18. And then the other 3 are right behind them, so but that's a little bit, a couple more months, 3 more months to finish those. But these 3 are, hopefully in about a month and a half's time, should be able to, we should be able to call for the finals, the CO. 11, 15, and 18, Dania Drive.
All right, so I think the issue, really comes from, we had been given a construction schedule at the outset. You're pretty behind on the construction schedule, and at some point, we have to hold you to a stricter standard, Farouk, in order to feel confident that the project is progressing as it's supposed to progress. So, I don't know if Tim or Hazel has any comments on this. I think that you have a clear deadline as to when you can get those occupancy permits released.
Yeah, I'm not ready for the occupancy right this minute,
Right.
but shortly I will be ready. But there should not be any hindrance in me getting that, because by the time I go and ask for the occupancy permit, my shell for the unit number 1, commercial, should be complete as per the decision.
Okay, but what about the affordable unit? You said that.
The affordable is already up, the affordable is on the side, I'm building those. I don't even think, I'll have those ready. The first one should be ready for the CO in maybe a month's time or so, but I don't think I can sell that because all the documentation that has to go through the DHCD, the stuff that has to be in place, and the lottery has to be
Well, yeah, but the
done.
point wasn't that
Well,
it
listen.
would be sold, the point was that it would be finished and ready to be sold. So I think that was the discussion we've had all the way along. So the question was, Jim, could you clarify this for me? There was some discussion at a or at a workshop meeting, about when that affordable unit had to be ready essentially for sale compared to when he would be issued the COs.
Okay, there were, let me just go back to the notes here, just so that I don't misspeak. So the commercial building, the first 3,000 square feet, was to have a CO before the CO for the 7th residential unit. Not gathering which numbers they were, but just the 7th unit.
Correct.
So you just need to put in the windows, I think, to be ready for the
I just
CO.
did what?
To put in the windows on that commercial
Right.
building, right? Then,
Does the CO have to be issued on the commercial building prior to the?
be ready to be issued,
Has
yes.
to be ready to be issued.
Right. And Fred said once that the windows are in and he's done his inspection, he'll get a CO.
Yes.
And then he can get the 7th unit CO, house unit, that is. But then the affordable unit must be complete with the 7th unit. And actually, on your construction schedule, that was August of last year. Now I'm looking at the construction schedule that you gave us in May of last year.
I can update that for you, you know. Right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm having a lot of difficulty getting materials. And some of the houses are like halfway up and then there's no material to finish it. Finally, you know, we got some deliveries like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and I'm right back on it. And there are 2 foundations are waiting for me to build. They're all in, I did my part, and they're ready to go. And they're all sold, by the way. And the customers or the prospective buyers are really, really wanting to get in these units, and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm getting a lot of pressure from them to finish it. But there's only so much I can do, you know? Maybe the
No,
materials are not
Okay,
there.
I'm just looking for a little clarification on how we're gonna proceed on this. And so when the commercial building is ready to be issued the CO, then he can get the CO for the 7th unit, the 7th house,
Yes.
essentially. All right, then the next step beyond that, does he not need to finish the
The first
affordable
affordable
unit before he can get any more COs?
Correct.
Is it in there? Is it?
That's right in the schedule. The schedule.
No, that's my schedule, but not in the decision though. The
This-
affordables are not part
The
of
decision
it.
requires a construction schedule.
Yeah,
This is-
I
So-
had proposed that, you know.
So,
but
Farouk, what's left to finish the affordable unit?
What's left in the affordable?
Yeah.
Finished electrical, finished plumbing, carpeting, and landscaping. That's it. The rest is all done.
So I appreciate that you're trying to get the commercial building done, but why can't we get both done?
I'm
No,
working on that too. That will be done too.
Yeah, so that's all you need to do is finish both of those and you'll get the occupancy permits on the next
Yeah,
3.
But what my thing is, there is no stipulation that the affordable unit should get a CO before I get the other ones. I think it's only the commercial building that I need to finish if you look at the decision.
Well, there
So-
seems to be, I thought you were gonna have a discussion with Jim and the building inspector about this, because we need to get some
We
clarification.
did talk about it.
Yeah, and we
talked
need
about
to
it.
get it on the record at this point. I mean, if this is, what the decision was by the planning board with the attached construction schedule, then I think we have the requirement to stick to that.
Do you have a copy of the construction schedule? Did you?
So I'm just looking at the minutes from 7th occupancy permit will not be issued until the
I
commercial.
volunteered at the time that I'm working on the affordable, which I am. I didn't say anything about getting a CO.
So we had the same discussion, for the 3rd time we've had this discussion, and I would just like clarification on, so we can come to an agreement, it's on the record. I mean, I think the planning board's understanding was that you needed to finish the affordable unit before you were issued any more COs after the 7th unit, which you would get when you completed the commercial building.
Okay, here's what I propose now, okay? I mean, if you can give me if I'm really in the right to get the next 3 occupancy permits based on the decision, but if you just allow me to continue with it, I'll have that affordable done in a month's time, way before probably the 3rd unit will be ready. Just allow me to get that and I'll have the affordable ready. It's just gonna be ready and just sitting there. It
Well,
cannot be sold.
We understand that, but that, I mean, that was something that we knew was gonna happen because of the length of time it took to get the approvals from the state of Massachusetts on it.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't a surprise. Suddenly, you had to get approval from the state of Massachusetts to get this going with the affordable housing. I mean, this didn't come out of a clear blue sky. It was something that you've been aware of since you started that project.
Right.
Right.
This has
Okay.
been going on for a long time, the approval
Well,
process.
yeah, Farouk, my problem is it's been going a little too long. You know, you gave us a building schedule, construction schedule, and every single one of these target dates is, you know, you were supposed to have the affordable unit number 1, target completion was August 30th, 2020.
Right.
Landscaping, supposed to be done this June. The second unit, you said, second unit was supposed to be done in March 21.
Second
The
affordable.
second affordable unit, I'm sorry. And that was supposed to be the 12th unit. The commercial building, yeah, I mean, the commercial building was supposed to be done in August of 20 as well. So it's really hard for me to undermine staff on this. You know, we've got a letter from the building commissioner that is not supportive of issuing these, of changing the construction schedule. You know, I want to work with you on this, Farouk, I do, but I just don't understand why you can't finish this affordable unit. Just make it a priority, get it done. You get the occupancy permit on that, you move forward with everything else. You get the occupancy permit on the building, you get to go forward with the other, with 7 more units at that point. And the only one that'll be held up after that is the 15th unit.
Yeah, but, I mean, I am working on that, but I just don't want to get held up for the people that have no place to go. You know,
Well,
I
then
mean, I'm not,
get the unit finished.
I
mean,
know it
that's what
takes a
comes
little bit
down
of
to.
time, but other units are done,
Well,
so.
put
Could I ask the
down-
applicant a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hazel, are you finished?
No,
Why, so 6 units are ready for sale?
6 units have already been
that have
sold.
been sold.
I see. So why was the affordable unit 7 not in the construction schedule? Why wasn't that completed?
Because the DHCD, you know, the people that put that
I understand
on
that
record
process.
would not, yeah, the process was not done. I would have built it, it would just be sitting there with me, holding on to the unit, because I couldn't sell that unit
Well-
till the documentation is in place.
The DHCD ruling is separate from your construction schedule that you issued.
It is, but it would just sit there without getting sold. So I waited for that thing to come, and now it has come, and at the same time, the unit will be ready. I mean, you'll see in about 2 or 3 months, it'll all be just fine. They're all up. There's no pipe dream here, so it's all already all up.
As an applicant, do you understand that the construction schedule itself is part of the original decision? It's part of the decision that you produce a construction schedule, and that it's not just infinitely revisable, because that's not a schedule. I'm
That's
surprised to
construction-
see these
yeah.
dates just a year out.
Yeah.
The construction schedule was prepared and given to you way after the decision was made. It was not a part of the decision. It was done after.
But I think it needed to be.
Yes.
Every other applicant provides a construction schedule
Yes.
with site plan review.
My construction schedule was completely blown. I ran into a lot of difficulties in trying to get my building permits. I don't want to sit here or stand here and cry about it, but if you really go back and look at all the mathematics of it, you'll see how long it took me to get, and I know some of that was my fault. I had some issues with the DRB, because they had to go back and reapprove a lot of things. that chewed up a lot of time.
Sure.
You know, and it's not like, I mean, I'm losing money on it every day by just letting it sit there. You think I would really not complete the job? You know, I'm just think about it that way, you know? I mean, to me, I need to get it done today, not tomorrow. So if you allow me to move the way I'm doing, you'll have the affordable, I mean, you can come and look at it, how close it is to being done.
Well,
So,
then-
and the work is still continuing on.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to, it's perfectly straightforward, we've had the same discussion back and forth. The thing is that affordable unit needs to be finished. If it sits there, it sits there. But according to the decisions that made, your construction schedule and the discussions you've had with the town planner and the building department, the understanding is that affordable unit needs to be finished.
Farouk,
Before.
I'm sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I just feel like,
It's-
you know, I feel like we have to draw a line somewhere. And I just, you know, again, I'm sympathetic to the fact that you want to close these other 3 units. I don't want to hold that up. But I
Please.
don't feel like it's us holding it up. I feel like it, I feel like you're the one that's held it up because you could have just moved all this other stuff forward, knowing, you know, I mean, you've been told and told and told that these needed to be done. This is not the first time you've heard this. So it's really hard for me to support a change to this process that we've understood it to be, as we've understood it to be the whole time. Because I don't have confidence that you're not going to be back here in 2 months asking me for 3 more occupancy
That will
permits
never happen.
on an,
I'll guarantee you that right now.
I don't have confidence in that, though. I
Well,
don't.
you know, have some faith. I mean, you saw all the buildings up, and I gotta close the other 3 units just as much. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, I think we may be putting a ghost in the closet right now. That unit will be done, and most likely it will be done before, maybe not in another month, it will be done. But I don't wanna be waiting on the other units, you know, just because this is not done. That's all I was asking.
Sorry.
I would say just finish it and come back and see us.
He doesn't have to come back and see us if he finishes
If
it.
All right,
he, yeah, if he
just finish it.
finishes and gets his CO and
Please,
things
please
like
just
that.
finish it. There's 6 families waiting for this to be done, so
Right.
just please finish what you agreed on and get this over with, please. There's families waiting that are being financially burdened by this. Please get this done.
I am.
I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not holding anything up
Well,
there.
you know, we've been talking about this, though, for quite a long period of time, and, you know, 3 weeks ago, you said you'd get it finished in a month. Now you come again and you say it'll be finished in a month. Well, I want it finished. I really feel very strongly about this, and I think that, you know, the time has come where, you know, the line in the sand is there, and that's it. That you gotta finish that affordable unit.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Jim, go
If I could
ahead.
just make a suggestion. So we also have this construction schedule that I shared with all of you. You are behind on almost all the items. And something that I had mentioned to you last year was the landscaping. And you've lost the spring, you're now in the summer. I know that the landscaping, you tried to say the indigenous birch trees are mostly dead. Did you buy new landscape materials?
All the trees that are there are brand new.
So if they're healthy, then why didn't you plant them in the spring when you were supposed to?
Well, I need to know exactly where those needed to be planted. Some of them have lived and some of them died.
Yeah, but you have a landscape plan.
Yes,
This is the
I'm going by that.
frustration. We have a construction schedule. You have a landscape plan. The landscape was supposed to be installed this spring. You didn't do that. You're behind on the homes, and now you're asking the board to let you have occupancy of the homes that you can sell, the market rate ones, when you're supposed to have had the affordable ready for occupancy, not sold, but ready for occupancy. And there are so many items on that construction list that you're behind. We as staff don't feel that we can let you go any further. That's why this is in front of the board. And I understand that this is the right venue to ask for grace or ask for a change. But if you're going to ask for a change, you should have another plan. You should have another construction schedule so that we know what we're allowing you to move forward with. Otherwise, none of these items and dates match up to anything. They have no way of knowing that you're going to stick to a schedule. So I would recommend to the board that you ask Mr. Ansari to revise that construction schedule with realistic dates And you can meet with Fred and I to discuss those items, but you're not gonna get occupancy on the last unit until all those items are done.
I know that.
Okay, so
So
when's the
I-
landscaping gonna happen?
I think that's a reasonable request, Farouk. I think if you can update this construction schedule.
Okay.
And tell us exactly when the commercial building will be done, exactly when the affordable building will be done. And then at that point, exactly when the remaining units will be done in general. And at that point, if we know when the landscaping will be done and we have a solid schedule that you've worked out with Jim and Fred, then we can consider instructing them to release some occupancy permits. But I think it's a reasonable request to get some updated time deadlines.
I can have the updated, schedule very, very quickly to have.
So I think that-
Yeah, but it's
the-
gotta be realistic. I mean, you can't just hand a schedule in, fine, I could go out and do it for you. But I mean, in the sense that this has to be, you have to sit and think about it. If I do X, and then I do Y, and then I do Z, how this is gonna fall in together. You can't just, come back with a schedule that's gonna be unrealistic because you wanted to get a schedule here. That's not the point. The point is to sit down with Jim and Fred and decide what is a reasonable construction schedule that you can actually meet and not just keep putting us off with things like, I can't get materials, can't put the landscaping in because the weather's bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I have no problems with any of the stuff that you're saying. You'll see that affordable completed. I'm just hoping that I don't get delayed on the other 3 people that are waiting around to move in, that's all. I mean, everything will be done, and that unit would be done way before I could sell it still.
That's
So,
true. Well, get it done.
We're working on it, it's
Well-
not that much longer before you finish it, but anyways,
All right,
so.
so I think at this point, Farouk, I just need, Jim has volunteered his time to help you work out a new construction schedule. Let's get that in writing, in agreement with the building commissioner, the planner, and then come back to us with a realistic schedule, and we can consider whether, we'll give you, my hope is that you just finish these units, but, again.
I am, believe me, I am. I just don't want that hassle,
Right.
So when do I come back? I gotta wait another month, right?
But
Or it
Jim,
can be,
Yeah, our next, we're gonna discuss meeting dates.
Jim, as a favor, would you please bring a list of the things that need to be done on the affordable unit before you get the CO? I wanna know exactly, when you keep telling me a month. Well, I wanna know exactly what needs to be done to that affordable unit for it to be ready for a certificate of occupancy.
I just said that, but I'll give it to you in writing if that's what you want.
Well,
Finish electrical, finish plumbing,
Well, we have that discussion with Jim.
and
I-
final inspections.
Farouk, I think I made this point all along, right? I don't wanna get to, you have 15 units in there, right? 3 affordables. I don't wanna get to the point where we have 12 market rate units sold and no affordable units sold, and then none of them are even ready to sell, right? Like, I feel like if we keep, giving, that's where we're gonna end up. And I don't wanna end up there, right? So I just need, I need a progression. Let's get an affordable unit ready, move to some more market rate units, get the second affordable unit ready, and do the progression the way it was spelled out here, but let's update that to some
Okay, I'll
realistic
update that, but do I have to still wait a
We'll
month?
put you on the agenda for the next meeting. We're gonna discuss meeting dates tonight because we have some conflicts with vacations, summertime. I know you're impatient and eager to get this moving, and I don't wanna hold it up any longer than it needs to be, but I don't think we can move forward with it tonight.
And then maybe you can come back at the next meeting, since it probably will be 3 weeks, and have finished the affordable unit, which will solve all the problems. You said a month,
Yeah.
3 weeks?
For me, you're expressing a lot of confidence in your ability to finish the commercial building and affordable unit 1. I think you need to establish target dates that reflect that and restore some credibility with the board by meeting that. So for me, I mean, I would look for outdates on all of these items, the landscaping and the sidewalk. But I think you should choose dates for the commercial building and for affordable unit 1 that you're confident you can exceed at this point. And it would restore confidence, at least the confidence that you're expressing. I'd find it more credible if you were able to do that in the schedule. Thank you.
All right, so I think we've had enough discussion on this. Farouk. I'm sorry, you know, I know it's not what you wanted, but we just can't, you know, again, we can't move forward until we have a clear set of expectations. So work with Jim, work with Fred, and let's get an updated schedule. I think our next meeting, I think it'll be the 10th or the 17th of August. We're gonna.
10th of what?
10th or the 17th of August, I'm not sure which yet. We'll make that decision later tonight when we discuss meeting dates, all right?
All right,
Thank you for coming in.
thank you.
Good luck. All right, next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for the special permit application for the veterinary clinic at 1 Oak Street. Jim Robbins, I'll let you summarize this for the board. The applicant, we felt did not need to be here for this. Jim is pretty familiar with the project and can answer any questions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, members of the board, I sent you a draft special permit decision last week, and it's dated July 20th. You should all have a copy of it in the package as well. And I spoke with the applicant. I sent them also on the same day a copy of this draft decision. I received 2 emails back from the applicant thanking us for the consideration and the job well done, and said, thank you, we're happy with everything in the decision. That's why they're not here this evening. So if you like, I'll just go through this with you very quickly. First of all, the applicant is Rare Breed. That's the name of their clinic. It's Rare Breed Veterinary Partners, located at 1 Oak Street. And you know that is the property, the commercial, I call it a line building. It's a linear building perpendicular to Lyman Street and parallel to Oak Street at the intersection of those 2 streets. Over on the second page, I'm just going to read the existing conditions and then the findings. The project site is located at 1 Oak Street, further identified on Assessor's Map 34 as parcel 112. The property is located in the Highway Business District. The site currently contains a linear commercial building with 3 existing tenants and 1 vacant space. The applicant, Rare Breed, proposes to occupy the vacant space of approximately 2,828 square feet. There is currently adequate parking for the existing uses, and the proposed new animal hospital as shown on the plan titled Concept Plan C for Linear Retail Properties at 1 Oak Street, Westborough, Mass. Prepared by Polar Engineering, dated 3/21/19. The first paragraph under findings just further describes the property. Over on page 3, at the top of page 3, it says local zoning regulations require special permit for veterinary clinic uses in the Highway Business District. The property is located on Route 9 in the Highway Business District. The applicant, Rare Breed, proposes an animal hospital, a use requiring a special permit. This is a use permit only. There are no new structures or associated parking. Adequate parking is provided currently on the site. All aspects of the project are internal to the existing building. There are no external site alterations, no outside runs or animal walking areas. This is a professional office that functions with regular business office hours and no overnight stays for animal patients. Under section 1330 of the zoning bylaws, a special permit shall be granted unless, because of conditions peculiar to the particular case, but not generally true of similar permitted uses on other sites in the same district, it appears that nuisance, hazard, or congestion will be created, or for other reasons there will be substantial harm to the neighborhood or derogation from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. In making its decision, the board found no evidence of conditions peculiar to this case that would not be true of similar uses on the other sites in the same district. This special permit allows the use of 2,828 square feet of the existing building at 1 Oak Street for an animal hospital as described in the project application and as provided in the Westborough zoning bylaws. So that's a description of the site and the permit that you're granting the applicant. And as you know, the zoning bylaws and as required under Chapter 48, Section 9, the granting of special permit can attach to it the following conditions. The applicant, the first condition, the applicant shall provide 2 designated parking spaces at the front of the building near the entrance to the animal hospital for use of customers that may be transporting an animal in distress. The applicant shall, number 2, the applicant shall provide 1 or more trash receptacles designated for animal waste along the sidewalk at the front of the building near the entrance to the animal hospital. On page 4, number 3, any signage associated with the new animal hospital shall conform to the requirements of the Westborough zoning bylaw. I have to insert the word bylaw there. Apologies. Number 4, the applicant shall install appropriate building materials to soundproof the common walls shared with adjoining commercial uses to reduce animal sounds from infiltrating adjoining commercial spaces. Number 5, prior to the certificate of occupancy, all plans approved through the special permit process with all comments from all town departments shall be verified through as-built plans. These as-built plans shall be approved through the building department or other appropriate departments to verify conformance with approved plans and permits. The building commissioner may withhold occupancy should any of these items be found deficient. The next section is just a list of comments from town departments. And then conditions 7 and 8 are our boilerplate talking about how to modify a special permit and conditions for non-performance. It's a pretty short permit.
Out of curiosity, Jim, are there any special rules or regulations for a veterinary hospital to get rid of animal waste?
No, there's nothing in our local bylaws. Zoning or town. So I know what you're talking about. You don't want them to like dump it somewhere on site or somewhere else.
Well, I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I imagine it'll go in the dumpster when the refuse comes. The same as all the other containers on site.
Any other questions from the board? I'll make a motion to approve the special permit decision on 1 Oak Street as amended here tonight.
I'll second.
I think that was Tim.
Like Tim.
Give
That'd
Tim
be-
out.
Right.
That was a race.
Any discussion of the motion? All those in favor? That's 4-0.
I'm going to ask the board to sign this since you're all here. And then a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we replace the public hearing property, the special permit, for the property located at 1 Oak Street for Rare Breed Veterinary Partners.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion of the motion? All those in favor? That's 4-0 in favor of closing the public hearing.
Jim, what are regular business hours discussed in this? Because I thought it was going to be hopefully open for later emergencies than.
Yeah, they're going to see how it works. This is their first store, if I can use that term, their first animal hospital in Massachusetts. So they're going to see how things work out. But initially, they proposed 7 to 6, and it might end up being later. They wanted to open before typical work, before the average commute, and stay open after.
Yeah, that's the evening hours where your regular vets generally aren't open.
She did mention that actually in the presentation that Tracy gave.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman. We need to discuss our future planning board dates. Our normal schedule in August would be the 3rd and the 17th. Jim Robbins is on vacation on the 3rd, as am I. So I think, given the proposed schedule for, I guess, our, the number of projects coming forward, I think we'll be able to get, one meeting in August will suffice. So unless there's any objections, I would propose that we stay with an August 17th meeting schedule. I know you have a conflict on the 10th.
Correct.
I see no reason really to move it up.
Yeah.
August is a long month anyway, so
Excellent.
that'll be right in the
Okay.
middle of the month.
for me.
Do we know that will work for Jim?
I don't know that will work for Jim.
But the four of us can be a
I
quorum.
think we tossed it out to him at the
We
last
did.
meeting.
I thought the 17th
Yeah.
was what we agreed on.
Well,
think
it's
we
a
should
regular
informally-
meeting, it's
Yeah.
our regular meeting night, so hopefully he's prepared for it, and he does do remote access when he has conflicts quite a bit. I just know he had a family obligation, so we couldn't do that tonight, so.
Yeah.
I think the 17th will, I'm confident it'll work for him, but we'll check
Yeah,
it.
that
Kristen
sounds
can
fine.
check in with him just to make sure. If you don't mind, Kristen, would you just reach out to him?
And I assume that's not a Board of Selectmen meeting? They must meet on the 10th?
We would meet on the 10th and the 24th.
They're meeting one time in August, the 24th.
Perfect.
So,
We're just voting to cancel, or to, how do we do, pass over the meeting on the 3rd?
No, you can, it's, you guys can just decide and we'll repost it.
yeah, I don't think we need to vote.
Good, we're in agreement then.
All right, so next item on the agenda is a master plan update, and I will ask Jim to start, and maybe Hazel will have some additions.
Before you leave that item, Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
so
that's
you
right.
settled August, but what about September? Because you have Labor Day
That's right.
is the
So
day before our
if we
meeting.
could look at September's schedule as well, I forgot, sorry, Jim. Labor Day is Monday the 6th, and we would normally have a meeting on Tuesday the 7th. I would be fine with that night, but I don't know if anyone else has conflicts.
It's okay, school will have started by that time, anyway, I assume.
I would guess.
Pete doesn't live far from
Yeah.
1581.
Yeah, I'm stuck here.
Unless he's given a release.
I've seen his real estate signs all over, so it's not just.
It's
going
not
by.
only that.
Anyway, so let's just stick with the 7th and the 21st for September, Jim.
Okay, got it,
But I don't see any changes necessary there.
got it. And the reason that I wanted to know about September is it has an impact on the master plan. Our next item.
My only question is when Yom Kippur is, it isn't that night, is it?
I don't know, I don't have my cell phone with me, your calendar, I'll tell you.
Let's look it up.
Someone
You got it?
That would be
Yeah,
my
I'll look it
only
Doing the search?
question, we do try to avoid,
Pete's doing the search.
we try to avoid things like that.
I heard there was some nexus of Jewish holidays and other holidays in September with something.
September 15th.
The 7th, yeah, the 15th.
15, okay.
Rosh Hashanah is September 6th to 8th.
Okay.
I don't really know. Is that a conflict?
Okay.
So we're good then with those 2 days. Okay.
Okay.
Master plan update?
Yes.
So as you know, we circulate the master plan to all of the town departments and subcommittees of the Master Plan Advisory Committee. We've received back quite a few comments, or we've received back almost all comments from the committees and the subcommittees. A couple departments have submitted their comments early. I was very encouraged to see about 4 departments working with each other because they identified common needs. And I found that very encouraging. So we have till the 26th of July to receive departmental comments. From there, the comments will come back to the advisory committee. Well, first they go to VHB. VHB consolidates those comments into the new revised plan, noting where the changes are, sends it back to the advisory committee. And then during the month of August, we're going to have an advisory committee meeting where we discuss those changes and make the final revisions to the plan. Then in September, we will present the plan to the board. We'll have a public hearing, rather. We'll have a public hearing first. That's why these dates are important. And then we'll have a presentation by the consultant to the Board of Selectmen at a planning board date that we pick, which will probably be our first meeting in September. Actually, I take that back, and Kristen will correct me on this. We need to have a public hearing to inform the plan before we have our joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen. That would be on September 21st.
I think it was, September 9th for the public hearing, and then the 21st, a joint meeting with the selectmen to present it.
So September 9th doesn't run into one of those holidays, right? And that's a Thursday, correct?
There's not a conflict with those that I'm aware
Yes,
of.
it's Thursday.
So that's a Thursday is the public hearing. And then the joint meeting, planning board and selectmen will be the 21st. And this is all in preparation for a October town meeting warrant article where the plan will be presented by the advisory committee to town meeting, just explaining that we're only asking for the town's endorsement to proceed with the master plan. And that's really important. It's not approval, it's endorsement. The planning board approves the plan, and that is not done until after town meeting. So if the plan is endorsed by town meeting voters in October, in November, the planning board would meet and formally approve the plan. And what's really important to keep in mind, and this will be reiterated in town meeting, is that anything that's in the plan has to be brought back to town meeting. So you may not like something that's in the plan, let's say. Well, that doesn't mean that by voting to endorse the direction of the plan, you're approving everything in the plan. You're not. Because if we have a zoning bylaw, if we have a town bylaw, we've got to come back to the voters at a later date. So that the details will be worked out at a later date for each town meeting voter to vote on. So if we proposed a new zoning bylaw, say for downtown zoning, that would all have to come back to town meeting regardless of what it says in the master plan. And that's really important because when we went in 2003 to town meeting to get endorsement, we got almost unanimous support. And then because it was made clear that all of these goals and objectives and implementation actions all have to come back to town meeting individually. We're just putting you on notice that these are the topics that we're going to address, and these are the actions that we propose to take once the details are worked out and brought back to you, the town meeting vote. It's all a transparent process.
Makes sense.
But not only that, I mean, one thing as it pertains to this board and zoning in particular, that the master plan outlines probably a number of things that could impact zoning or bylaws.
Right.
And the point you just made is a good one. They're not taken as a group, they're taken one by one.
Right.
As they mature or as they
Right.
are appropriate to be
Because the master plan
deliberated.
is just a large overarching document that has concepts and ideas. It doesn't have laws and regulations in it. We have to bring that back to town meeting.
Okay.
Makes sense. No, I don't have anything to add to that.
I have just a
I was trying to
process
firm
question. On the 9th, so that we have a planning board meeting on the 7th, and then we would have a public hearing on the 9th,
Yes,
the planning board. So,
just for the master
right,
plan.
I won't be in town on the 9th, but I don't know that whether we have a quorum, we're okay for the public hearing.
You
'cause
only need
We're
three.
not voting on
Yeah,
it
you only
at
need
that
three.
point.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
You can watch it on TV or
On
YouTube,
YouTube.
or
Watching it
wherever you
from-
go.
The Highlands,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
All right. Any other business, Jim?
No.
Can I
Anything?
just ask for an update on the Burger King?
Sure, okay, good question. So as you know, the Burger King has not opened. However, Starbucks is open and they're doing a great business. They're doing so much of a good business that there's circulation problems on the site.
I am still getting complaints about.
Yeah, no, I
parking.
don't doubt it. Tomorrow morning, we're having another, which will be our 4th site walk, but this time with engineered plans. The engineer is Gleason Thomas, who's the original engineer on the property. Signage that we approved for circulation doesn't work because, as you know, signs don't stop vehicles, people stop vehicles. So we're going to be proposing islands and circulatory devices to keep people in the right circulation pattern around the building. Tomorrow, the town engineer and the assistant town engineer will be on the site together with the project engineer from Beals and Thomas, the property manager, and myself. Then we already have a plan that we're looking at. That plan will be finalized and delivered back to this board for review and approval. And that would be only to change the circulation pattern. They've lost a parking lot to create an island, a parking space to create an island, which is a good thing. You'll see that we've channelized the flow, so if you come in from Lyman Street, you're forced to immediately go right around the building and get into the queue. So whether you're going to Starbucks now or Burger King in the future, you won't have a head-on collision with someone that's trying to go to the wrong drive-up lane, which is exactly
So all-
what could be
all-
happening now.
All traffic will be going counterclockwise.
Correct.
Wrapping around to get in their proper queue.
Yes. And there seems to be no problem if you're coming in from Route 9 westbound, because the sign is pretty clear. You can't make a left turn. You're supposed to go straight through, either deciding to go to the parking
Right.
or going around to the drive-up window.
Yeah,
So
it's
we've
the
got to
entrance
fix
from
that.
Lyman Street that's been,
A
because people
disaster.
just come in there and they don't,
They don't know where to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And particularly with the construction fencing up, it's been, but the bottom line is the queue for Starbucks, because the ordering, you know,
Order board.
the order speaker is basically right next to the parking lot. So if there's more than one car in that queue to order, it's not so much, you know, the queue at the window, but the queue to order backs into the parking lot and it just basically turns into a huge snafu if somebody tries to go in clockwise. They just can't do it. They end up driving on the wrong side of the parking lot. And if somebody's coming in from Route 9, you get basically two cars facing the same direction. So, or facing, you know,
Facing each other, yeah.
head, you know,
Head on.
head on. So it's just, I think if we can just get everybody going one way around the site, it'll improve the site. We'll see. You know, we had engineers tell us that this was gonna work in the first place, so.
Except I think realistically, we looked at it and said, I don't think so.
Well, we had a traffic engineer and
I know.
a consultant, you know,
I
so
agree with
we
you.
had
We
two
did.
traffic experts
Which looked at it.
tell us that it was
Right.
gonna work, so you know, whatever, we've learned something from this, and I think that, I think this will improve it. You know, again,
Anything
as I always say, the proof is in the pudding, and until they fix it, and we see whether there is an actual improvement, we won't know, but I do think it will improve.
Is Burger King going to open at some point? Do we know?
So we don't know what the problem is. The town does not know what the problem is. We've been ready to issue a certificate of occupancy for about 3 months, which is very unusual because we just had somebody to ask us for certificates of occupancy. We've been trying to give them a certificate of occupancy. We don't know what the issue is.
Must be a very wealthy franchisee for as long as that has been out of business.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
years, isn't it? Years and years.
Well, I know the former owner sold the site, so I don't even know if they
Maybe
have
the
a.
franchises.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the
It's
problem.
not, let's ask economic development to look into that.
At least that won't cause traffic issues for now.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to get the construction done on the medical portion of it and get that construction fencing out of there before Burger King opens anyway, so, and I think that's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, well, I think with the problem, I unfortunately, until all those 3 businesses are running, I don't know whether we will have solved the problem.
Well,
So,
that's true, and I don't know if we'll ever completely solve it, but I'd like to, I do
Oh,
think
I
it will
think
improve. I think it-
positive about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I hate to say that a business not opening is fortuitous, but I think in this case it was. Because I can't imagine the Burger King drive-through being open in the current circumstances. It would be beyond a nightmare.
Right.
However, the medical business is doing quite well. I expect they'll be asking for an occupancy soon. In terms of construction, I know
Oh.
quite well.
Okay.
You want a motion to adjourn?
If there's no other business, Kristen, anything else? Okay. Go
I'll
ahead.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Hazel seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's 4-0 in favor of adjournment. Thank you so much. You have a good night.